everyone, this is Marika and welcome back to another session of Community Health Nursing with me. So in our previous session, we have discussed about environment, and under environment, the first component that we discussed was air. Right? We've seen in the last session how important air is for all living organisms and what are the different functions of air. Air will not only help to sustain our life, but it also plays major functions maintaining the temperature and in combustion as well. Air is one of the most important component in our environment, and we also discussed about various ways through which air pollution can be controlled. In this session today, we are going to discuss two different components under environment, which is lighting and ventilation. Anything that surrounds the man immediately is considered as his or her environment. It constitutes of living as well as non-living things. Lighting is one of the major component of our environment. We cannot imagine our life without light, right? So good lighting is important. It is really important for us to have our vision or to see something. And the intensity of the light also must be sufficient on the intended work for us to visualize the work or for us to see something clearly. So good lighting is one of the major component in our environment. We need light in order to visualize something. For us to have a clear vision of something, we need to have good light. So how should the light be distributed in our environment? The lights must be distributed uniformly throughout the field or throughout the area so that it does not cause any kind of eye strain or any kind of eye problems in the people. If the distribution of light is not uniform, if the distribution of light is not proper, then it is obvious that it will cause certain eye strain and it will also affect the vision of the person. Therefore, the light must be proper and it must be distributed uniformly for the person, for people to see something clearly. The second thing under light that we should remember is absence of glare. As I said, light should be sufficient. It must be strong. The intensity of the light must be strong enough for us to visualize things clearly. The light should not have glare. That means there should be absence of glare. What is the meaning of the term glare? Glare means excessive brightness. So light should be, the intensity of the light must be sufficient enough for us to visualize something without causing any kind of eye strain. But the light should not be too bright. Of course, too bright light will also cause problems in vision. It will also cause problems in visualizing things. Therefore, there should be absence of glare and the light that is distributed in the field must be distributed uniformly. The next thing under light we have is steadiness. The source of light that we have must be a steady source of light. The source from which we are getting the light must be continuous and it must be consistent. The next thing under lighting is the color of the light. Therefore, colors of the light must be chosen carefully. We usually take white color lights or bright lights because it helps in proper visualization of things. Next one we have under lighting is measurement of light. Now, how do we measure the light? Light is measured in terms of foot candle. Foot candle is the unit of illumination. What is a foot candle? A foot candle can be defined as the intensity of light that is derived at a particular point 1 foot away from the source of the light. So that is called as foot candle. Foot candle is the unit of illumination. Let us now see the recommended light intensity. In a living room, the recommended light intensity is 7 foot candles. In a reading room, the intensity of the light must be 10 to 15 foot candles. In bathroom, it is around 6 to 10 foot candles. In bedroom, it is 4 to 6 foot candles. In operation theatre, it is 75 foot candle. And in laboratories, it is 20 foot candle. So foot candle is the unit of measurement. It is the unit of measuring the illumination. How do we define foot candle? Foot candle can be defined as the intensity of light, one particular point 1 foot away from the source of light. Let us move on and see the sources of lighting. As we know, there are majorly two sources of light, that is natural source and artificial source. Under natural source of light, of course, we have sunlight. Sunlight is a direct source of light to the earth. The amount of sunlight that reaches to the earth's surface, it depends on the type of day, the type of season, the type of weather, and also the formation of the cloud on that particular day. To get good source of natural light, the house must be planned properly. Where will the window be placed? The height of the window, the breadth of the window, the doors, the curtains, all of this must be well planned in order to make sure that good source of natural light reaches to the house. The number of windows, doors, as well as use of glasses in the doors, and also the colors, the pens that are used inside the house also plays a major role in the lighting of the house. Whitewashing the walls or white paints inside the house will help in proper reflection of light. Another thing to remember is that whenever houses must be constructed away from the north and south side. Another thing to remember while constructing a house is that any kind of obstruction must be removed partially or completely from near the houses. So if there's any kind of obstruction to lightings to a house, it must be removed partially or completely in order to ensure that good amount of light reaches to the house. The windows of the house must be properly planned. The shape and size of the window also must be properly planned, as broader windows will give more lightings than the taller windows. So the windows, the doors, the placement of the windows and the doors, the size and shape of the windows and the doors also plays a major role in helping the light enter the house. The second type we have is artificial source, right? In natural source, we have sunlight, and there are many things that we can do in order to make sure that sunlight reaches our house. The second source of lighting is artificial source. And under artificial source, we have electric source and petroleum sources. Under electric source, of course, we have hydroelectricity, solar electricity, nuclear electricity, and wind electricity. Under petroleum source of light, we have LPG, kerosene, candle, gases, generator running on diesel and oil lamp, etc. So we have two different categories of light sources. First one is natural and the second one is artificial. Under natural, we have sunlight, and under artificial, we have two different, which is the petroleum sources. Under electrical sources, we have hydroelectricity, solar electricity, nuclear electricity, etc. In petroleum sources, we have LPG, gases, kerosene, candles, and generator running on diesels, etc. So that is all about lighting. Lighting is important physical component of our environment, and lighting plays a major role in helping us maintain our health status, especially in maintaining proper vision. In order to see something, we need to have proper light. So proper light must be maintained in a house in order to make sure that we are able to visualize things properly and it does not cause any kind of eye strain in people. Next, we have ventilation. When there's exchange of air between indoors and outdoors, we can term it as ventilation. Inside the house or inside the room, as we know, the air that we have is ventilated, it is impure. So the stagnant and the ventilated air must be thrown out of the room and fresh air must enter inside a room or inside a house. Ventilation also implies to control of air, temperature, velocity, and purity. It is with the help of ventilation only the stagnant or the ventilated air inside or indoors is exchanged with fresh air from the outside. Therefore, ventilation is very much necessary. Let us now see what are the types of ventilation. We have basically two types of ventilation, which includes natural ventilation and artificial ventilation. So natural ventilation, as the term suggests, it operates or it happens because of the natural forces that occurs. Under natural ventilation, the first one that we have is wind. So we know what is wind. It is a natural phenomenon, and because of the wind, ventilation takes place. The fresh air from the outside travels and enters inside the houses or the rooms, and the stagnant air is replaced by fresh air. So wind is one of the natural ventilation method. The second one under natural ventilation is diffusion, and the third one is temperature. Under mechanical ventilation, we have exhaust ventilation, balanced ventilation, and air conditioning. Proper ventilation in a house, in a particular room, will help to keep the air inside fresh, and it will also help to replace the stagnant or impure air with fresh air from the outside. With proper ventilation, the large particles of the dust that is present indoors will be removed, therefore decreasing the allergic symptoms. The dust particles in the air inside the house will cause various allergic symptoms. Therefore, proper ventilation will help to remove all those larger dust particles and also decrease the allergic symptoms in people. So to summarize, today in this session, we have discussed about lighting and ventilation. Lighting and ventilation are two major components of our physical environment, where we have seen that a proper lighting, providing a uniform proper lighting, will help to reduce various eye strains, will help to reduce eye problems in people, and proper ventilation will also help in health promotion of an individual. Proper ventilation will help to reduce various problems like allergic symptoms. Ventilation is a process of exchange of air from the outside to the inside. So there's exchange of air from indoors to outdoors, where fresh air from the outdoors replaces the stagnant ventilated airs from the indoors. The windows and the doors must be planned properly in order to make sure that good amount of light reaches inside the house, as well as there's proper ventilation. The topic for today's session was very short, and I hope you've understood what is lighting, how is it important, and what is ventilation as well. In our next session, we will be discussing about water and water pollution. Thank you and have a great day ahead.